In this lecture, we will perform convolution using a very simple method, and we will use numpy.convolve in Python. Now, students, if you remember from the previous lecture, we calculated the full mode convolution using for loops. When using for loops, we had to take care of many steps. It was a bit lengthy. We had to manage things like how to expand x1 to prepare data for convolution, how to set the limits of the for loop, and how to define the value of k. There were several details to handle manually. Here you can see that by using a single command, numpy.convolve, the process becomes very simple. Inside the numpy.convolve function, we have three inputs: x1, which is the first signal, x2, which is the second signal or kernel, and mode equals full, since we are performing full mode convolution. So we just have to provide these three inputs to numpy.convolve, and it will automatically handle all four steps of convolution. That is, flipping, shifting, multiplication, and addition. After that, we can plot the results and compare them with those obtained using the for loop. Let's run this cell and see the output. You can see that we are getting the same output sequence 3, 8, 11, 9, 7, 3, and 1. So we are successfully getting the full mode convolution by simply using the numpy.convolve command, which is the easiest method for performing convolution in Python. If you compare this output 3, 8, 11, 9, 7, 3, 1 with the result obtained using the for loop, you will notice that both results are identical. When we plot this, we are plotting the convolution using numpy.convolve with a red line, and the convolution using the for loop with a green line. You can see that the red and green plots overlap perfectly, confirming that both methods produce the same result. So depending on which method you find easier, you can use either one. The numpy.convolve method is the simplest and most efficient for calculating full mode convolution. However, it is highly recommended to understand the for loop method as well, because it helps you improve your programming skills and understand the underlying process. Now, let's talk about another mode of convolution called same mode. We did not discuss this mode in theory, but it is very easy to understand. In the previous example, the mode was full. Here, the mode is same. Let's run this cell and see the difference. You can see that in same mode convolution, we get only 5 samples, while in full mode convolution, we obtained 7 samples. So why do we get 5 samples here? The reason is that the same mode calculates the output sequence with the same number of samples as the first input signal, x1. If you remember, x1 had 5 samples, therefore the output also has 5 samples. Basically, same mode computes only the middle values of the convolution result, ignoring the edge samples at the beginning and the end. In contrast, the full mode gives all possible values of the convolution output. So when you want the complete convolution result, you use mode equals full. But when you want the output size to match the size of your input signal, you use mode equals same. Or for example, suppose you have a signal with 1000 samples and you convolve it with a filter, but you do not want to increase the size of the output. In that case, you should use same mode because it keeps the output sequence the same length as the input signal. Let's run this cell and look at the plot for same mode. You can see 5 values plotted, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5, which correspond to the 5 samples of the numpy.convolve, result in same mode. So, in this lecture, we studied the simplest method for calculating convolution using numpy.convolve. This function allows us to perform both full mode convolution and same mode convolution easily in Python.